wave to wave, and you have to target fire every single unit that comes by. And eventually, it gets pretty tough.
Yeah, I can imagine that it would. Alrighty then. This, I believe, is that... Oh, Sheth! Okay, I knew Sheth would actually go crazy eventually. Sheth is going to go postal one of these days. This is going to be the day. He stab you if it's close ground position. Mana up. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it. Morrow in the red trunks right here to the top of this particular map. He is playing Terran versus his opponent. Currently single. He is to the bottom of this map. He's playing Zerg. He is Sheth in the purple trunks.
So in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if Sheth opened up again with a very similar build. He might feel like going spawning pool into hatchery rather than going for an extractor first. We'll have to see what he decides to do. And meanwhile, Morrow probably open up for the same build. Hopefully he remembers to wall off this time. He is already started well. He's got the supply depot on the edge of the ramp, which is a good start.
Yeah, have I got to teach Morrow how to wall off? Actually, don't ask me. I keep letting Marines in. Well, I don't let Marines in my base. I actually block my Marines outside of the base and let the Zerglings in. It's not ideal. It was kind of an open house weekend that I was having in my base. A couple of nights ago, I was switching over to a reactor and I let 12 Zerglings into my base and I instantly GG'd. It was an Idra GG right there. That was how quick it was.
Really? Well, that's not good.
Yeah, it's like micro the SCVs. Like, I have 13 of them. It's yes. Oh, Morrow is press ganging Sheth into DreamHack. He better come to DreamHack winner. That would be great.
Yeah, it would be cool to meet Sheth. Never met him before, so.
Yeah, he is apparently an awesome guy in real life. In the NASL Grand Finals, he spent hours signing for fans, and he was always appreciative, always smiling the entire time. Really pleasant guy to be around.
And let's have a look at Sheth now then. What's he doing with this? He's going to go for 15, 15, 15 hatchery. Yeah. Into 15 spawning pool. And
why not?
Pretty standard. He'll probably want to get gas around 18 or so. Doesn't really want to delay it that long as you kind of feel a little bit more threatened versus Hellions. You can't defend against them without getting that speed. Meanwhile, Morrow has completely walled off. Woo! Good start to the game for Morrow. And he is building a Marine. Scouting SCV is finally going across. And we'll check out that close by air position first, and then followed by close by furthest away position.
Close by furthest away position. Yeah. Thanks, Apollo. I knew I brought you here for a reason.
It's my job.
Yes, thanks. Factory coming up right here for Morrow. It could be a very standard 1-1-1 build. You just have only one refinery thus far.
And Morrow already showing us, his knowledge through playing both races. Usually you'd see a Zerg player, and unlike Sheth though this time, Sheth's been a lot more defensive with that. You'll see a Zerg player cut corners and actually send the Overlord across that third base. And Morrow's already expecting something like that and sent out a Marine just because of his knowledge. And now Sheth does push up there, sees the reactor, and knows that, well, not going to build them Zerglings this time. You've covered that wall. Yep.
It's all sorted out, and that will be denied for the time being. Reactor is on the way up. The question is, was it spotted? It was, yes. Sheth is aware of the reactor right now. Going straight into an expansion, he will be swapping over to Hellions, and immediately the response by Sheth is to put down a Roach Warren.
Yeah, the thing with putting down a Roach Warren is that if a player knows you're only going for a late kind of gas, and you're not going for a Roach Warren and you're only going for Zerglings, is that there's a big window to hit with that before link speed comes out, number one. The second reason too is if a player saves up for 6, sometimes you see 8 Hellions and they go in together. No matter how many Speaklings you get, they literally turn into blue flame Hellions when you have that many of them, because one hit will just kill all of your Lings.
Yeah, that would be unpleasant. What can we say? There's the Star Pod coming up right there. Tech Lab going on it. So we could see all sorts of things right here from Morrow. This Tech Lab could be going down for a swap around into Banshees, transitioning out of that. The factory is actually building nothing at the moment, and he certainly has the money and the supply for it. There we go. There's the 2 Hellions coming in. I imagine he would do something along those lines, but there's nothing wrong with him transitioning back into Banshee. Looks like he's going to go for a fairly similar build to last game, only this time he's not going to let the Zerglings in.
Both players are playing exactly the same. Morrow doesn't need to change his style because the mistake was that supply depot, right? So he just wants to play and kind of go back to game 1. And now Sheth has got 8 roaches out. He's going to defend, and he can also have the option, like we're seeing now, to push out with a few. And if you look over at Morrow's base, what does he have? 1 Banshee making, and Sheth has a lot of time to go ahead and snipe the supply depots. He can snipe the reactor and do a lot of damage here.
He could, but in the meantime, Morrow has actually bypassed the entire force of Sheth. Sheth is not pulling back, and as a direct result, it looks like he is in a fairly vulnerable position. There are a couple of roaches up right now. The question is, will Morrow decide to go in? I have to wonder if he thinks the the entire Roach force is already there, because he would be wrong. Morrow is turning tail. There was an opportunity there to run by into the base and do some big damage. There's no real defense right there, because here comes this Roach pressure from Sheth right here, and that is in fact 7 Roaches coming in. Massive damage coming on the supply depot right now. In comes the Banshee, but it will not save those supply depots. He doesn't have what it takes.
He's going straight for the mineral line, try to pick off as many SCVs and mules as he can, get a great advantage. He sees that third command center as well, and doing a lot of damage with these Roaches right now.
Yeah, this is not good at all for Morrow. I really have no idea why he pulled back with the Hellions. What use of the Hellions going to be against those Roaches? The answer is basically none whatsoever. Big damage has been done to the economy already. Currently 25 SCVs to 43. And finally cleans it up, having lost 7 workers in the process and a ton of units. I am not a fan of that play.
And let's have a look at the unit tab too. 47 SCVs to 25. Sheth has just powered through with all those drones, has more in the making, and is just going to play standard now. Getting the 4 extractors up, gonna layer, add on a spy ASAP. Morrow does go ahead and scout the third base. Knows that if he was going to go for third base before spire or before going layer, this is the time he does it. He doesn't see that, so he already knows that Muleless play is on the way.
Oh yes, and Sheth looking to try and clean up a couple of Hellions. Indeed, why not? I am annoyed, honestly, that Morrow lost that opportunity. He could have gone in there. There were only 2 Roaches. Perhaps he thought there were more. I have to assume that he believed that there were a bunch of Roaches up in a defensive posture. There weren't. In fact, there were only 2. So he absolutely overreacted to those 2 Roaches. He could have easily slipped by into the main of Sheth, done horrendous economic damage with those 4 Hellions, then maybe slipped out and hit the natural expansion as well, which would have put Sheth behind. And as it now stands, Morrow is in a defensive position. He is very far behind in terms of his economy.
He does have a 3rd orbital command though, which is going to help out a bunch. There's an extra production line of SCVs, an extra production of mules, so that's going to help him to catch back up. And we could already see in the supply count, 72 versus 84. The SCV is still quite suffering because of that initial attack. And let's have a look now. The Spire at 50%. A lot of links have been created to help out for any timing and push with Stim. And Stim though hasn't even been researched because he spent a lot of gas into these tanks. He's also hasn't got siege tech either. So that harassment not only hurt the SCVs, it's hurt the entire game plan of Morrow.
Yep, it's delayed him very heavily, and now he's finally got the gas for the siege tech. Will he go into it more to the point, or is he going to sink it into something else? A couple of missile turrets coming out, which is a good idea, considering this is about the time you would expect some real damage coming in. And now this time Morrow is not going to make the same mistake twice. He's going to take that queen out because he can, and perfectly timed. He will die if he goes for this though. He's firing on it and loses the Banshee. Unfortunately, there was another queen ready, and in the meantime, here we go. Sheth making a run, and there are no siege tech available. There are no siege tech available. That is, of course, not grammatically correct, but there you go. There are no siege tech. Yes, all your base art belong to Sheth. Not in this case, however. Not for the time being, anyway. These tanks need to be sorted out with siege tech immediately. Get that out as quickly as possible. Quick, quick. Morrow, chrono boost the factory. Nope.
Can't do that, sorry, in this game.
I think you can actually if you build a Nexus, but unfortunately he doesn't have any infestors, which is a real problem for Morrow when he's playing Terran.
And Sheth so active with scouting all the time, moving around, seeing what's happening. He's going to go into the base now. Only 1 turret. SCVs will be able to repair though, but the refineries are in a lot of trouble here.
Oh yes, you can also see that there is some aggression over here right now, as a little bit of damage is being done by these Mutalisks. In comes a large force of Zerglings that were cleaned out actually by the Hellions. Nicely done there. 4 kills and 5 there by Morrow, so he's dealt with that quite nicely.
Once again, these 3 tech labs are so naked. If Sheth just concentrated his focus down here after the refineries, we have Stim, we have Combat Shield. Siege tech did finish just in time though, but I mean, he could easily cancel Stim here.
1 gas, 2 gas taken out. It could be cancelling this missile turret as well. He knows he can go for it, perhaps, but a lot of repairing going on, and the lack of upgrades certainly is not helping. In the meantime, Morrow starting to apply pressure with some drops. That 4th hatchery looks to be denied. However, plenty of Zerglings moving in. He's going to have to quick pick up immediately. He's dead one way or the other. The Mutalisks come out to finish off the dropship of Morrow. Down it will go.
And let's have a look at the unit tab now. We're at 63 drones, 6 in production, 69 in total. Very, very shortly here, getting up to that safety 70 mark. And very, very shortly, Sheth will start to mine gas from that 4th base. And that's why we expand. If you look at the resource balance between the minerals and gas for Sheth, 2,000 minerals, only 150 gas. He needs gas, doesn't need to expand for minerals at all. And meantime, I will give Morrow a good thumbs up because he did clean a lot of overlords and forced overlords to be pulled back. So it's actually kind of difficult for Sheth to scout, and his only scouting option is going to be Mutalisks, and they can't get to every nook and cranny on this map.
No, no, indeed they cannot, especially since there is now an armory up. Thors are a real possibility right here, and we have seen some big mech play from Morrow when he's played this TVZ matchup. He's looking stronger than he was last game, there's no real doubt about it. With these 4 mules up currently, his income is looking brilliant, as you can see, matching up to Sheth's, and he'll be looking to try and perhaps expand, maybe take a gold base, but this creep spread by Sheth is getting very insidious. It's difficult to deal with. Now Sheth trying to once again deny this gas, which is a smart move. This is going to slow down the tank production, it's going to slow down the Viking production, and it's going to prevent Thors. That said, though, Morrow does not want to lose it again. And
look at the production tab now. So many units and upgrades being made for Sheth here. We have the centrifugal hooks being finished up, the pathogen glands as well.
You'll get it eventually.
And so many, 14 more drones being thrown down as well. He's going to be at 100 drones.
That's
so high in
arguably
economy.
Excessive, unless he intends to build a huge number of spine crawlers, because the army size is not that different, to the point actually where Morrow is almost 20 supply army supply-wise ahead. So I don't know about that with Sheth. I think maybe he might be overdoing it a bit.
Well, there's a lot of different styles to play with the drone count. You can play very, very low with drone count, 50, 60 drones, just like Zerg, very, very aggressive, or you can play very macro-orientated like Sheth is going to do here with 100 drones. He can just wave after wave after wave and literally never run out of money.
Well, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. However, it comes down to whether or not Morrow can deliver a crushing blow where Sheth is unable to match him simply pound for pound in terms of the size of his army. That's the weakness with that particular build. Now, Sheth going for it with a bunch of banelings. It's nicely walled off with supply depots. It will funnel the banelings down into a narrow corridor. It might give him the opportunity to get away with the baneling speed. I'm thinking not. That is a lot of economic damage done right there. Oh my. And he also forced Morrow to pull back. He had a large force moving in. That was devastating. Workers lost is currently at 35-0.
And this timing push now for Morrow, which was intended to go a little bit before, is quite strong actually. +2 finishes, +1 armor finishes, and also +1 attack for the tanks to finish as well. So going to be quite a powerful push now. And scanning to get rid of these creatures. Look at these infestors jumping forward, but look
very
at this,
quick reaction there for Morrow.
Counter-attack on the left-hand side too.
Yeah, indeed, and we will try and keep an eye on both of those. Morrow deploying a defensive position to try and deal with those infestors. Now elevating some Marines up to the top position, and there we go. Zerglings, Banelings, and Mutalisks now smashing their way through the third base of Morrow. Morrow cannot hold that. He knows it. He has to lift that out of position now. In the meantime, here come the elevated Marines. However, he's up against a spine crawler as well as a roach, so some damage is being done. Morrow is creeping forward with these tanks, and Morrow has also managed to clean up on the third. So while he has lost some workers, he's certainly not out of it yet, and is now in a very powerful position.
And that's the great thing about Zerg, the mobility you now have. You can go attack a counter-attack and then bring back and recollect everything together and get ready to go in and engage this. And Morrow doesn't really have that many units, that many Marines, and it looks like Sheth is quite content with going out to do a little bit more damage there. He's got spine crawlers to build to give him time, and also infestors for backup.
Double drops coming in right here. Morrow on the way. Broodlords being morphed in right here. I can't even find them
just
there.
On the right.
Yes, yeah. Just on the right. They are well hidden. They're actually over there. So they are out of harm's way for the time being. Here comes that big drop right now from those +2 upgraded Marines. It's a lot of firepower he has at his disposal. And Morrow will also go in and attack the 4th base of Sheth. Very, very smart play. Now Sheth has to decide which does he want to clean up. Big fire now coming down on the evolution chamber. A little bit split up right there. He keeps everything alive. He's actually gutting the supply count, which is very smart. He's cleaned up the 4th, and Morrow's looking to take map control. However, he doesn't really have a way to deal with his Broodlords, who are now collapsing the right flank of Morrow's siege tanks.
Well, he had a lot of idle units up that left flank ready to counterattack. He's lost an evolution chamber. Didn't really lose too much else. Lost reinforcements, and look at those Broodlords just cleaning up absolutely everything here. And nice cleanup here by Morrow. But at the same time, the food count is not so far different. 128 to 160. Morrow does kill the 4th and 5th base here.
Very nicely done there by Morrow. However, he is now dealing with Broodlords. The advantage he has now is the fact that Broodlords are incredibly slow. He's got some time to prepare for this. What I would be concerned about is the fact that he needs more starports. He's only got 1 Viking in production. He has none on the field right now. His Marine count is not great, and of course Marines are torn apart very quickly by Broodlords. It's all about positioning in that regard. You need to make sure that you are within range and you can concentrate fire on the Broodlords, and if of course the Broodlords are behind the line with their extensive range, then there's nothing you can do, and you will be torn into shreds. The Broodlord count is currently at 6. There are also 12 mutas on the field as well.
He has added on a second starport now, and also made a Ghost Academy, and will shortly be starting to... Okay, there's the research for the Mobius reactor, and we'll start to get that up. But really nice attack from Morrow, doing a lot of damage. His upgrade is good as well. +2 armor finishing for the bio, +2 attack for the tanks, and +3 weapons for those Marines. And a lot of harassment. Another counter attack on the top left again by Sheth. So consistent with that, but also equally Morrow being able to task with this, and a great play there.
In he comes once again. Baneling's moving into the mineral line of Morrow, and Morrow's not responding to it. That means that mineral line is gone.
And then on gold base, 2 Mulas doing a lot of damage. Great multitasking skills here by Sheth, doing damage all over the place to the economy of Morrow.
That's very, very nice play by Sheth, honestly. And Sheth is nowhere near out of this game yet. Morrow is lagging behind in terms of supply. His actual SCV count is what really worries me. That said, he can compensate a lot for that with mules, so it's not as big a deal as it would be with any other race. Morrow looking to deny the 5th again. He has the damage for it. Down it goes. And another attack coming in right here on the gold base, as this small contingent of Marines trying to inflict as much damage as possible. Now, they're not going to take it because of the Mutalisks, but that was a lot of damage being done nonetheless, and forcing Sheth to pull back with a huge stream of Zerglings.
And look at this now on this right-hand side. 2 medivacs full of Marines are going to die here.
Oh, Morrow leave.
Oh,
he's out, he's okay. He splits the 2, and I actually have no idea what he's doing. He just dropped all of his Marines.
Yeah, getting rid of all those Banelings, because those Banelings are going to...
Fair point, yeah.
Get rid of them, yeah. And so this counter-attack again here by Sheth. I don't really know what he can achieve here. There was a lot of Marines at that north base.
Yes, and there are 4 Thors going to be on the field very, very shortly. He's building 3 at a time. He's got Vikings on the way. He's really going anti-Broodlord here. That said, the Broodlord count has never risen above 6, so Morrow has to be very careful not to overcommit.
A great location for Sheth to attack is going to be on that gold base, and look at that. Morrow already with the Vikings, Thors, and turrets there to deny any harassment onto that gold base. And here we go. Sheth is going to try to pull this off.
This will be a nasty combination attack between these two. You've got Broodlords who'll be able to rain down a lot of damage here. There are also Banelings going into the backline. Morrow's backline is going to die again. Or maybe not that. There you go. Takes it out quite nicely. In the meantime, there's the engagement. A great combination of infestors. A huge number of infested Terrans now underneath those Vikings. The Vikings will die almost instantly if they're allowed to get up, but they're annihilated by the siege tanks and the Ibex cannon of the planetary fortress right here. It's cutting its way through there. The Viking count is minimal, however, and I would be still very concerned for Morrow as he is taking quite a bit of damage. Ghosts move in. Brilliant EMPs there by Morrow. Massive, massive EMPs, draining all of the energy of the infestors. Now those infestors are out of play for a while, and Morrow's still getting aggressive now, unfortunately, meeting a flock of Mutalisks. But that was perhaps the most exciting and inconclusive engagement I've ever seen.
And another single Ling is going to go up to harass that back base now too. And the money for Sheth is so low. Despite him going up to 100 drones, he lost so much damage and so many hatcheries to many drops. And again, another large drop going to deny that right-hand side base. Yep,
he'll be able to take that out. He is mining quite a lot at the moment, honestly, and he will be able to get back into it. There are 42 Banelings, 62 Banelings in total right here for Sheth. Sheth is just looking for one massive cleanup wave. He is investing everything he's got into it, and if Morrow moves out at the wrong time, he will be destroyed utterly.
Well, the smart thing here by Sheth is that he's realized there's not that many siege tanks. He could even send all these Banelings to the gold base and just blow the planetary
siege tanks
are
undeployed, and he's moving out. This is not ideal. Did Morrow see? I don't think Morrow saw the Banelings, and there's a huge number moving in to find absolutely nothing, but they are in a good position. In the meantime, we've got a Broodlord trying to engage to the bottom there, and a charge from Morrow moving on to the 4th base once again, trying to clean up the mineral line. He looks like he'll be able to do just that. Most of the forces are invested over to the other side of the map. Morrow's still not with those. I wish he would deploy those tanks. I really, really do. There's the cleanup from Sheth, and still the 4th base goes down again. Morrow looking in much better form this time. That said, I'm concerned about the fact that he really isn't able to expand anywhere because he's almost mined out this gold base.
And Sheth needs to, like he is now, needs to add on Spine Crawls, Spore Crawls to that. And we've seen Morrow when he was playing Zerg, he was actually using Nidus Worms to actually defend all these bases. And a great snipe off that one Infestor. Fungal Growth does go down, but these ghosts do have +2 armor. They are pretty safe against that. More Broodlords are morphing, and this is it. This is Morrow's attack. Sheth needs good fungal growth and needs to avoid EMPs.
Here's what I'm really worried about right here is the fact that Sheth has a huge number of banelings behind that line. That was a good fungal right there by Sheth, and there's a missed EMP for Morrow as Sheth moves out of position. A good EMP takes down the energy on 2 by the looks of it. Here comes the charge, but you can see on the minimap the banelings are swarming in from behind, and Morrow is going to get caught out here. Repeated fungal growths would nail it. Down goes the Infestors. Here comes a line of banelings to crash into the back of Morrow's forces. Oh God, it's a massacre.
Wow, Sheth is good. That was amazing. He understands that the tanks cannot siege up because of Broodlords, and then just rolls in with 1,000,000 banelings. And now Morrow is on the back foot. His economy is in shambles. 61 minerals, 83 food. Sheth now launches a huge counterattack. 1,000,000 banelings, so many Zerglings, Broodlords, and this could be the end of Morrow. Even though he has a few